Hello, my name is Maria Quintanilla, Virtual Content Specialist for World Languages. And before going any further, I'd like to remind you of the Teach Hub folder, where you can find all the resources we continue to create for you. This video will walk you through breakout rooms. In Spanish classes, we're calling them saloncitos, an important opportunity for students to engage in interpersonal communication. Interpretive communication and presentational communication work well in whole group settings and asynchronously as well. But interpersonal communication in small groups is meaningful, such as in saloncitos. And many of us are already incorporating breakout room routines in our remote lessons via Zoom or via Google Meet. We're taking advantage of the breakout room features to facilitate small group learning and peer engagement. And as your students get used to the Saloncitos routine and to the weekly digital notebook, then they'll be able to focus on the new content and resources that you put in front of them. Well, as you know, our sample lessons have 5 essential moments. The the hagamos ahora moment, that's the first one, hagamos ahora. The aprendamos moment, that's the second moment. The practiquemos or exploremos moment, that's the third moment. The más práctica, that's the fourth moment. And then the conectemos moment, the closing activities, that's the fifth moment. The third moment, the practiquemos moment, calls for saloncitos. Small group discussions with guiding questions, sentence starters you can provide, and students can capture their discussions in their libretita de apuntes, their digital notebook. And I want to just highlight the idea that every time students are in groups, we want to give them four things. We want to give them a clear task. We want to give them a process to engage in. We want to give them supports and scaffoldings. And we want to give them a way to capture their thinking. And as their teacher, you may already know how you want to group your students. Maybe you already know which students you want to work together in a particular lesson, right? So you can pre-assign them right before your Zoom call or your Zoom class. You may pre-assign them. You just need to go to your settings in your Zoom account and you can pre-assign them there. Just keep in mind that if you don't change that, then you'll have the same groups every time you start a Zoom call. And also, if you don't want to go through the settings, if you have like a reoccurring link, then you can go to the edit, and then you can edit that link or edit that meeting, and then you can do pre-assigned breakout rooms. But again, keep in mind that every day you would have to change this setting, or you're gonna have the same groups every day. You can also opt to have Zoom create the rooms for you. You just decide how many rooms you want, and then on the spot, depending on how many students are in the Zoom call, then Zoom will create automatically breakout rooms for you. That's one way to go as well. Or you may opt to have students, self-select the groups that they want to work on that particular day. All you have to do is decide how many groups you want, You open the breakout rooms, the saloncitos, and then the options appear on the students' screens, and then they decide where to go. Some students, they may not see the options. It may just have to be a matter of an update that they have to do. Then you can easily assign them to the room that they want to go. I always tell my students to have a maximum number of students per group. So if they see that a particular saloncito has enough students, then they have to choose another room to work on that day. I also tell my students to stay in their saloncitos until the end. I want the timer to automatically kick them out so that we all come back to the main room at the same time. And I also ask my students to ask for help. At the bottom of each breakout room, there is a help button, just in case they have a question or they want me to go to the room. That's how they let me know. And I also create 1 or 2 rooms, and after I send my students to work on their group work with clear instructions and with group roles, such as the recorder or the timekeeper, then I also keep a small group with me. I think of it as a small group instruction. I keep those kids with me in the main room. That's also another option for breakout rooms for saloncitos. Now, if you're working with the Google Meet, that's also fine. I just realized that the DOE Google Meet does have the breakout rooms feature, whereas my school's Google Meet doesn't have these features. But the same way as in Zoom, you open a Google Meet, and then the upper right hand of your screen, you'll see the feature for breakout rooms. You go to breakout rooms, then you set up your breakout rooms, as many saloncitos as you want for however minutes you want them to be working together, and you can shuffle the groups around if you want to do a couple of rounds. So I want to bring a clear example, like for example, in lesson 3.1 of El Llanto de la Pachamama unit, you'll see that this is the second moment. Some lessons you may have 2 slides for 1 moment. In this particular case, there is 1 slide and another slide for moment 2. And then you get to moment 3, the practicemos moment. It is during this moment when students are working in groups that they can share whatever they wrote during the Hagamos Ahora, or they can also have small discussions with their classmates. So like I said, this was going to be a brief introduction to breakout rooms. I hope it was helpful, and I want to once again thank you for all the work that you do for our students, and I'll see you in the next videos throughout the remainder of the school year. Thank you.